Welcome to the new world of Rust. The Orszáçorszáçē staging branch has gone public with a ton of changes, including new cliffs, new farmable log piles, reworked water wells, completely new dive sites, the new small Radtown monument, the Frontier Hazmat suit, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to cover after we go over what is released in this month's patch. Over on the Rust blog, you can see the Time to Kill update has released, featuring the digital clock, the new gas compression overdrive weapon attachment, the wallpaper item, which has 4 variants as a default that everybody can use, and the option to purchase a DLC with 22 variants. The colorblind accessibility settings, which allow you to change the colors of varying things in the game, such as mushrooms and also your hollow sight. The migration from error reports in chat to a new toast feature that shows up on the bottom of your screen in a red box that will tell you when you're doing something wrong and why. And a few other fixes and improvements that we've covered in previous update videos on this channel. Make sure you go take a look at this for yourself if you want to keep up to date with the things that released in this month's patch. Switching gears, there's some very exciting things coming to Rust October 3rd, and we get to preview all of it a month ahead. There's so much to cover, and I've got so much footage to pull from that I don't even know what clips to show you guys. In a couple days, I'm going to have another video uploaded where I'm going over all of the changes specifically to just the world itself, because there is so much to show you. First, let's start off with the new wood log pile node, which is going to spawn similarly to the way that stone, sulfur, and metal do, and it'll give you around 1,000 wood, which varies depending on the type of axe that you're using. And if you're hitting it with a rock, it'll only give you 375. These new log piles are going to shift people's entire playstyles, because as a smaller group or solo, wood is the hardest thing to gather, and now it's going to be everywhere. There's also the new small Radtown, which we can finally get a look at, and there's currently work being done on a pathing system for the traveling vendor to go through here, as well as the end of White Bradley convoys. Every single building in this monument you can enter, and they've all been customized to look really good on the inside. This is also where you'll find the only source so far for radioactive water, with light radiation around certain objects and this water. And players with high radiation levels that are dead will give you radiation in the looting window. In this building, you'll find a recycler tucked away in this room, a bunch of places like this room right here that have windows to the outside, as well as secret entrances into most of these buildings. This area right here, which features a rooftop shooting floor, which also has ladders and staircases up to the roof of it. Many small effects scattered around that bring life to the monument. A diesel spawn in the back of this truck, and quick escape routes from all sides of the monument for you to make your great escape after your adventure here. As well as a nice sofa where you can take a seat and be comfortable while the chaos pursues around you. This small Radtown, as well as the harbors, are a taste of what we're going to see in the future once all of the monuments get reworked. Also, we can see here the building block radius around the new monument, which is pretty minimal, as well as only being located in the temperate biome, which is the grass region. With the traveling vendor and the Bradley passing through here, this is going to be a crazy place for fights and gives you yet another reason to stick around on a server until the end of a wipe. Before we go over the rest of the world update changes, there's a couple things that are important that you should know about, especially for creators out there. New changes will be coming to the clear inventory command, allowing you to clear specific parts of your inventory or other players' inventories. A new command called Kill All Players has been added, allowing you to kill all players not in God mode. An 8-month-old commit for a copy-paste command has had some work done on it recently, but it looks like it's going to be some more time until this is ready to release. A convar has been added that allows you to set keybinds to quickly open screenshots, demos, and maps, and only works locally on your machine. The world of Rust is completely changed. Last month, we got a janky preview of this by ripping off a map from the Orszáçorszáçē when it was private and putting it in the main branch, and now we get a full look at everything, and it is amazing. Basically, to summarize it, everything about the procedurally generated terrain has been updated, including all of the cliffs in the game. I mean, look at this. I usually put a saturation boost on all of my videos because the game looks washed out, but guess what? They're also changing that as well, and everything you've seen so far does not have that filter that I usually put on. Obviously, this isn't finished yet, and there's still some more room for improvement. So, while the cliffs got reworked, they are so much better to climb up now. You can tell that there was a ton of time and thought put into this over many months. There also appears to be a separation between beachside cliffs and the cliffs on the inland, including the ones that spawn on mountains, and the ones that are inland you can damn near walk up without having to jump a single time. We can also finally get a look at the better rivers, the new lakes, the canyons, and the oasis, which spawn like monuments do but are buildable inside of them, and also appear to impact the terrain around them, most notably the rivers, as well as work being done on things like the swamp to create a better blend between the monument and the terrain around it. This doesn't all go out without a little bit of criticism though, because the lakes, they feel like they are missing something, but it could be because there's some swamp trees that are supposed to spawn here, which I don't see anywhere. It's most likely not merged to the Ǒҽçṟçဧ branch yet, so we'll have to wait and see if they get filled up a little bit more with foliage. But all in all, the lakes look great aside from feeling like they're missing some trees here and there. The water reflections have been tweaked a little bit so it looks better when the sunlight shines off of the water. The topology of the map has been updated so we can finally see the water in things like swamps and bandit camps. The water depth of the lakes and oasis is buildable, and it does dip down once you get more towards the center. Also, it looks like the boats are not going to be able to spawn at the oasis, but they're still over here by the lakes. The canyons look and feel great and are not too steep so you can climb out of them easily, and is going to be a really fun place to build at. They're also huge, and from a distance it really gives some depth to the map. They also have a ton of variations in the new cliffs that form around them, which look and feel spectacular. The new rivers are massive and span across most of the map, and it looks like there's going to be 2 to 3 of them on most maps. The height of the terrain in these rivers must have been adjusted because when you're moving through it, you're swimming, but it kind of feels like you're walking. And like I said earlier, these will carve out pathways through the terrain, creating new and interesting formations. And it also looks like they flow downwards as they move towards the ocean, which they still connect to. The new oasis, which come in 3 variations that spawn in the desert, look spectacular, and there's not much else to say about them besides a new water source in the desert. This new terrain is freaking crazy and is beyond my expectations for it, and there's also room for improvement on foliage, trees, lighting, saturation, all of that. Not to mention the rework of all the monuments that will be incorporated into this new formation of terrain around it. My favorite thing so far has got to be the cliffs in the snow biome, and you can see a huge mountain in the back. There's also like these sandbar things where it'd be great for players to build on the beach side because they have custom cliffs that bring them up smoothly into the higher terrain. And I mean, come on, look at this. Cinematics are about to go freaking insane when this comes out. The time and dedication that was put into the quality of these cliffs is emphasized by the snow in the tundra. There's also areas like this that connect the islands that stick out from the main land, and I mean, oh my god, there's just so much to talk about. You're gonna have to wait for a couple more days while I work on a whole video surrounding just the changes to the terrain. I could just go all day about how good this is. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know I don't ask people to subscribe, but I mean, you're going to want to subscribe for this one so you don't miss out. I've got a ton of footage recorded of all of the new things that are coming in next month's patch, and I've already trimmed it all down. It's ready to go for Wednesday. But we thought we're done? No. There's also the new Frontier Hazmat, which is going to come with the first ever high external wall skins, as well as a hatchet and possibly a couple other things. The new buoys have been added, and they appear to be linked to the type of dive site that's below them, which have also been completely replaced by 3 new versions, which look incredible. There's this one with shipping containers, and you can see boxes that are scattered around them, as well as the possibility of sharks spawning at all of these. Watch out. You'll also find some friends with shells down there now. There's a second variation which you can identify via this broken boat that's upside down, and it looks like when they spawn next to each other, they merge together to create a fluid structure. There's also the third variation, which is the coolest one, that has a crashed plane, and upon closer inspection you can see just how detailed these things are. Oh, and there's a little buddy in there. Not only have the dive sites been reworked, they're also a lot easier to see with the new buoys, and are going to make the ocean a lot more interesting when you go beneath the surface. With your brand new DPV. I don't know what that means either. It's an underwater jet ski that we talked about a while ago. We got to play around with it just a little bit before the Ǒkszçṟçဧ went private, and now that it's back open to the public, we get to see the DPV basically in its final form, and it'll be a part of this world update in October. As you can see, you're able to place it in the moon pools, which are also found at the oil rigs now. It requires low grade, which you cannot access while you're driving it, so you have to put it in before you go, and then by holding control and shift, you'll be able to go up and down, and it looks like you'll be able to go 25 kilometers an hour, I think it says. I'm not sure. I'm just a silly America. I use America metrics. And once you reach the surface with it, you will slow down, so it's better to go under the water if you're trying to go fast, which at the moment is very, very difficult to see under the water. I think it's getting tweaked a little bit so it'll be more clear, but the speed of this machine here is between flippers and the rowboat. You can also drive backwards with it. Woo! If you've ever had an animal or a scientist spawn right in front of you and kill you, that has been fixed, and it will now take at least 10 meters to 20 meters before any NPCs are allowed to spawn near players. And if you've ever dropped your item in the ground, like on a road, and you weren't able to pick it up, there's been a fix to this as well. The water wells that spawn on the dirt roads around the map are also getting reworked, and I've got a strange feeling that they're going to become real popular soon. So there's a couple changes that have happened. You'll notice that this one in particular looks very different, and all of the water wells will have a planter box in them that grows its own food, but you'll unfortunately not be able to plant it back in at the moment. If we head up the new ladder and staircase that's in the center, you'll find that there's an NPC with a food cache next to it. Here, you'll be able to find food and teas, which is the first time that they'll ever spawn. Don't worry about that. This guy over here sells a bunch of random stuff, including teas and weapons, as well as various other things that you would use inside of a farm base. You can also uninstall him from life if you would prefer to do that, but I don't know what the reason behind this is yet. What I do know is this world update is about to be insane, and it's coming out October 3rd. If you want to go test this out for yourself, it is public on the Orszáçorszáē staging branch. That's all I got for you guys today. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next. Join the Crucible grounds today, the ultimate test of your survival and skills in Rust.